walk miles in an obvious funk. Thoughts deep, boys steeped in the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, high late in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? Waiting for the day to arrive or struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and breathe and connect to myself and all that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress. The rain be looking like when blessings drop in. And so I got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah. Let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Woo. Funk, thoughts deep, boys steeped in the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, high late in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? waiting for the day to arrive. We're struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Realize life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and reconnect to myself and know that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress. The ring be looking like when blessings drop in. And so I go, cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah, let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Test. Let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Woo.
All right, good morning everybody from home. Be taking attendance in the next couple of minutes. Hope you're all on there. I am broadcasting live on YouTube through my Bridgeton High School Big Homie BHS channel. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time because technically YouTube has a much higher resolution. It can go up to 4K. I'm not using a 4K camera today. I could, but sometimes it's worse than better. But in any case, I'm going live on YouTube. I have a link in the chat. It'll probably be a lot clearer there than it is on Teams. And this is where I think we should have gone, that kind of thing. Like if we all had like some type of YouTube or some, Vimeo or whatever outlet, it would have been better for teachers, because that way you just get much more resolution. It's probably easier to connect. You don't have to connect to you don't have to connect to Microsoft Teams to make it work. Although for attendance, I obviously need you for that. But you should check it out, and if it is clear to you, tell me. And if it's not, that's okay too. Just know there's probably a 30-second lag between what I'm saying right now and when it comes on YouTube. So you really can't play both. Whereas I think Teams is pretty immediate. Okay, so when I say this, you're probably getting it within a second or two. There is some lag, but it's not much. Okay, it's not much. YouTube, yes. So the link is in the chat. It's something that ideally I'd like to do next year, because we have these big screens, and I think it'd be nice to record a class, especially if somebody's absent, any of the students. And then even if I'm absent, I can throw something up there, and YouTube's just kind of a good place to go. So as long as you're logged in, whether make sure you log in here on Teams so I can take attendance. But if you go to YouTube and watch, that's fine too, because it wouldn't matter to me. I can't disable the chat right now on YouTube, but anyway, that's the way it goes. Okay, so I'm going to start recording. Yeah. People are starting to come in now. Again, if you're coming in, I have a link in the chat for the YouTube channel, Big Homie BHS. And if you go there, it might be clear. My suggestion is at least try it and see what happens. You might even want to subscribe, because that way, if I'm on or there's a new video for our class, you can go right there. It actually does record on YouTube also, so I technically don't have to record here. It will automatically record on YouTube. So this is really the way it should have been, to be honest with you. I can't do this from the high school because I would need to use my own laptop, and I don't have a laptop that has Mac on it. I need to have a Mac to be able to do it. I suppose I could download OBS. It's a streaming software on my bridging computer, but I doubt they would let me install on the computer. I had to bring my own in. But you can see from this what could happen if you did it right. You know what I mean? It's just, today's an experiment, but again, in the chat, I have a link to the YouTube channel for this class. All right. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I got to do here on my end. I got to turn the music off. All right. So there we go. All right. Today. Let me just see. Let me turn something down here. I am going to show you how to create a logo. And it's something that, you may have somebody creating for yourself. Like when you are in business, you may not have the time to create something like this, but you can save yourself a couple $100 or maybe even more by doing your own logo. Now, it will be done on PowerPoint. You can do something as simple as having your initials or a fake name of a business or shapes. I'm going to show you what I do today, and I'm not an expert at it. I don't use PowerPoint, to be honest with you, for this, but since you guys have PowerPoint, I'm going to use PowerPoint. I normally use Keynote, which is an Apple program which does PowerPoint presentations. However, you could do this in Prezi, Keynote, or PowerPoint. It really wouldn't matter. The only issue will be is, do you have the best version of PowerPoint? Because I think the school district gives you the online version of PowerPoint, and it may not give you all the tools, though I think some of these you should have. So today we're going to talk about logos. If you remember from chapter 5, we have this idea of branding, okay, having a brand. It's a name, a symbol, or design. It's used to identify your product. And we looked at different types of logos. We've seen the Nike logo. We saw a Zoe's Kitchen logo. And what was different. Actually, I didn't show you that. I didn't show you that yesterday. That was for 5th period. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get to that at some other time. But it's important to understand that a logo has a lot to do with your brand. It says something about you, and it should be simple. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick peek on the internet here and see if I can show you some basic logos. Okay. And by the way, I'll quickly be going there. And you'll actually see the live program here. Yeah. So let me do this. Okay, new scene. And let's go to the internet. Okay, we don't want that. Alright. Don't want that. Alright, so we don't want that. We're going to get PowerPoint. Okay, so this is Microsoft PowerPoint. You have it on your laptops. And what we want to do is, we have really two things. Remember, we have, let me put this in the screen here as an overlay. Give me a second here. We have something called a word mark, and that's kind of like just having, your name as the logo. Okay, some companies do it. I think IBM does that. Let me see if I get a better background for this. Okay. All right, so we have something called that's not good. Something called a word mark. Okay, think of trademark. We have something called a word mark, and that means just the wording. Okay, like for example, let me see if I can go to Zoe's Kitchen, which is a Mediterranean fast food restaurant, which is very good actually. But that's so I'm going to show you a quick peek at a logo, and you'll see up here in the upper left hand corner, it's just a simple word mark. I'll make it bigger for you. And what's interesting about Zoe's Kitchen is a fast food place. There's one up in Morristown, there's one in Cherry Hill. You spend about $20 for a meal for yourself, but it's good fast food. It's really, really helpful. Let me get a pointer here. So there you see the Zoe's Kitchen word mark. But what's interesting about this is just its name, Zoe's Kitchen. When you think about kitchen, you think of some woman's kitchen, so it seems wholesome. But you notice here, right over the E, they have the two dots. Like it's, I don't know if it's German or Greek, but it has the two dots. This fresh made Mediterranean. It's as simple as that. That's a word mark. And just having those two dots has a lot more effect than not having the two dots, because it looks unusual. There's just something about it that looks unusual. But that's enough for some logos, just a word mark. Okay. Then we do have logos that have, just a symbol, and we're going to look at those. All right. Let's close this out. Okay, so these are all logos that you should be familiar with. Starbucks, Target, Apple, Shell Oil, YouTube in itself, Coca-Cola. Now, Coca-Cola has a word mark, but it does have a fancy word mark there. Maybe I can make some of these larger so you can see them. All right, there you go. So let's look over here to your right. So you see Burger King, Acer. Barbie has that cute little font that looks nice for kids. British Petroleum, the BP. You have Adobe there. We have Amazon, and that's interesting because it has the A going to the Z. Everything from A to Z being shipped. Okay. Even sports logos like the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure you all have your favorite logos. Even the Batman logo, A&W Root Beer. Every television network is going to have some type of logo, whether it's HBO or ABC, NBC, CBS, NPR, anything. They're going to have logos, and it's a symbol that represents their brand. Now, before anything, it's got to be simple. Otherwise, it's not going to be in your mind. Okay, like the Best Buy ticket, that's in your mind right now. Anybody who's lived in the United States, all you have to do is think, and your brain will generate an image of a Best Buy ticket. Okay, so logos have to be simple first. That's the first thing. Now, if you can make the symbol have some type of relationship with your brand, which is what you really want, like Amazon has the A to Z and the arrow, the movement, that's fantastic. But others also just want the recognition too. There's something about it. It can be kind of free form, and it just works, and people like it. Okay, everybody knows the Philadelphia Phillies logo. I don't know if the Sixers have. They used to have a logo. They keep changing the uniform, but everybody knows the Pittsburgh Steelers logo. You just know it. Okay, and these are very effective tools for branding. Okay, branding is extremely important because it really exemplifies what your company is, your brand. And this is why companies will sue each other, just because they want to make sure their brand is not affected by others. So today we're just going to play around with PowerPoint, and we're not going to use it in the same way that you would use it for presentations. Okay, there's more that you can do with PowerPoint. Again, I don't use PowerPoint, but I think there are enough tools there that you'll be able to see how to use it and do something with it. So without any further ado, I'm going to open up PowerPoint. Okay, and I'm going to actually do it right from the beginning. Let me let me switch scene here. And we're going to go here to PowerPoint. Should we go to PowerPoint? Okay, here's PowerPoint. Okay. What's PowerPoint? Hold on. Okay, so here we have Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. Now, when you open it up, you just want to get rid of whatever's on there. So, for example, I'm just going to open this up with a new file. Okay. So let's open up a new presentation, and you'll see here you've got these text boxes here. We're going to get rid of it. I mean, for right now, we don't need it. If you were going to make a text, you could do it. So I'm just going to select it and delete it. Sometimes you can just highlight it all and delete it. Again, I don't use PowerPoint that much, but it'll usually have the same basic stuff. So we have a blank screen here, and all right, we have a blank screen here, and what we want to do is we want to start throwing some shapes in here. Okay, now in your menu, you're going to see the home menu. Okay, insert, draw, design, transitions, animations, slideshow. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to shapes, because we're just going to play around with different shapes. So for example, I'm going to choose an oval, okay? And by default, I believe it's blue. You could change the color of these. You see the fill here, you could, anything you want. That's not so much an issue right now, especially since I'm colorblind, so it's not real effective of a tool for me to just show you right now. But anyway, you could change the color of these. Okay. Now that's just obviously just a simple circle, and that's not going to be the logo. But you can create some very interesting symbols, abstract symbols that might work for your, or even not abstract. You can make these things work for you, make them definite objects by combining shapes. So as an example, I'm going to add another shape. Okay, so I'm going to put in another circle here. Okay, so I've got two circles. Let me change the color of this one. You'll see why later. All right, kind of complementary colors. Okay. Now, if you go to edit shape, I hope you can see this. Let's see if I can make this bigger. If you go to edit shape, there we go. You can do things with it. Now I'm going to select both these. I'm going to click on this circle here on the right, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and now I have both of them selected. Now from this, you can combine the shapes, you can fragment it, you can intersect. So let's just kind of look at these and see what each one does, because sometimes you get some interesting things. So here's a combination, and already you've got some type of possible logo right there. Okay, you do something like that. You could undo that. We could let's see. just trying to see what happened there. I'm going to go back to edit shapes here. I'm trying to find this on PowerPoint here. I'm just going to erase this for a second. Let's do this for a second. I'm going to put two shapes in there again. Boom. And another one. Okay. So again, I'm going to edit shape here, and I'm going to select both of these. And now I'm going to try to intersect. And there you get the intersection of that. And then you can change the color of that. Now that may not seem like much, but that's kind of how you start making a logo. Now I could put, say, for example, a text box in here. Let me put text. Okay. I could say something like Weinstein Industries. Let me put this in the middle here. Okay. And I can move this around. I can make this larger, which I think I'm going to do anyway here. So let's make this larger, and let's change the font, because I don't particularly like that font. And just do something fancy. I mean, you can choose any font you want. That doesn't really matter. But all right, we'll use Lobster. Okay. And there I have a simple logo. Okay. Now, again, I was just using any type of shape there, and you could play around with it. And this is kind of what I want you to do with these things, is to experiment with shapes. And it's just a matter of, taking a shape and doing something with it. I could use a square and, let's say, a circle or whatever. I could do something like this. I'll change the color. I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to merge the shapes. And you get something. Now, this may not mean much, but it might, in a smaller way, become some type of logo. Now, that's not very good, but you could experiment with it, okay? Of course, you could change the colors of it. You could outline these things. And sometimes you can just use a text box. Okay, so for example, I'll just use my name. Okay, let me see. Okay, here's the text box. And let me go to home. Make it much bigger text. And I'm going to change it to something different than we had before. So, why not? We'll just use this. Okay. And that could be something as simple as that. I could change that up and, put a fill on that or something like that, because that wouldn't work with that font. You could change that. Okay. And there you go. Well, that's nothing really fancy, but you could work with shapes there. And I think the main thing is that when you use shapes, that you intersect them in some type of way. So again, it's just grabbing a couple shapes. You could perhaps use 3 shapes. So for example, here I'll use circles. And another. Here we go. We'll change the color there. And then we'll do one more. And there we go. Okay, and I'll change the color of that. Terrible. Change the color. Let's just do it like this. That's not even going to work. You got to be careful about your complementary colors. I'm colorblind, so it's not really going to help you out by looking at the colors that I choose. But anyway, from there you could select them all, and you combine the shapes. Undo that, and we could fragment it. I don't like that. I do like this intersection. Sometimes you come up with pretty cool things. And subtract. And that in itself is pretty cool, because that could be a shape, And then you do your thing with the text box, and you say your name or whatever. Insert text box, And let's change the size of the font. Change the color of the font. I don't know. Let's just put Weinstein. Okay, I don't like that font there, so I'll change that. And you can do whatever you want. I use a Facebook font. Okay, change the color. Something complementary. And there you go. And I'd probably put Weinstein and Company. And there you go. Something really, really simple. And again, we're not looking for great artwork here. We're just trying to get an idea, of what to do when we do this. Okay? So I'm going to have you experiment with it. I think I have an assignment that I can put in there for you. Again, these are just shapes. They're just abstract shapes. You could spend a lot more time and actually create something that, might be a lot more interesting or a lot more definite. You can make robots. You can do whatever you want with it. Let me see if I have the old assignment there. Okay. And by the way, I'll be taking attendance. I forgot to take attendance in the beginning. Okay. So let me see if I can dig up that assignment. Yeah, it's called Create a Logo. And all you have to do is just create anything. You can use PowerPoint, you can use whatever. And me just see, let's call this 20 points. Yeah, 20 points. And I'm going to add this to the other class. I don't want that. All right, so I'll sign that. I'll give you time to do this, so it shouldn't take too long, but Friday should be good enough. All right, so all you're doing is, you're taking PowerPoint. You don't even have to use PowerPoint. You use Prezi. You could save it as a JPEG, as a picture, and send it to me. Really simple. Even if it's your name and you're doing something fancy, like the Barbie symbol. I mean, that's a word mark. Let me go out of this scene here. Yeah, the Barbie symbol is a word mark. Let me see if I can dig that up. All right, let's see. I'll see. I'll show you in a second here. Here it is. All right, I'm going to try to throw this on the screen. Hope it works. That doesn't work. It's not a real PNG. Let me put transparent. That's no good. There's got to be one here that works. I don't think this one's going to work either because it seems like it's a JPEG. That's not going to work. Maybe. That's not going to work. Jeez, these people can't do things right. They don't upload. All right. It is. See if this works. I don't think any of these are going to work. Well, anyway, there's your logo there. It's a simple word mark, but it has a certain youth to it, if you know what I mean. It really does. There's another one they have here. Let's see how we do here. This is the last one I'm going to try, because if I can't find any more transparent ones, I'm not going to do it. That's not going to work. But that's a different type there, you can see. So any one of these logos that you see there, has something about it that creates that brand image that we've been talking about. Is your brand. You want an image about your company that everybody should know. Okay, be able to remember. Okay, it's a name, meaning your name, but think of a word mark, a symbol, or something that combines both. But it has to be simple. If you start adding a lot of different shapes, it's not going to work. Okay, because then you've defeated the whole purpose of branding, because nobody will remember it. Okay, so let's leave it at that. I'm going to shut down the YouTube thing for now and see how that worked out. Okay, back to live mode. All right.